Creative Scoop, and I'm really excited to be showing you how to use Copic markers and Neat and Tangled stamps. I'm using the stamp set Better Together, and we're going to be coloring this cutie right here. So we're going to get out our Copic markers. Let's get out R39, R35, and N5, N3, and C00. I'm going to start with my R39, and I'm going to draw a line right about where her arms are ending right here. And you want to kind of curve the line so it follows from this arm to this arm. And then we're going to make a pleat coming down the side here and also on this side. I'm going to add a little bit of the R39 back in here. Since her arms are up in the air holding that cute little stuffed animal, there's going to be a shadow right in this area since her arms are kind of together. And then we're just going to kind of continue the line coming down, and we're not going to go all the way down. It's going to kind of taper off and stop. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And now I'm going to take my R35 and I'm just going to come in a little bit more, just pushing that color in. I color from dark to light, so I like to think of it as I'm pulling that dark into the lighter area, so that way it's helping me pull that color in so I get that nice gradient. So now I'm going to take my R35 and I'm just going to come down the pleat just a little bit more. And then I'm going to make small little flicks coming down the side, and I'm rounding out this area right in here. So I'm going to get a little thicker as I come down, and I'm going to come down just a little bit more than what I did with the R39. So same thing on this side, little tiny baby flicks, and then coming down the side a little bit more. So now what I want to do is get my N5. Where did it go? And I'm just going to make a little bit of a shadow back in here. Kind of think of it as you're just outlining the outline of the stamp a little. And along the sides here, just slightly, because with each new lighter shade that we're using with the red, I'm going to be pulling out that color. So I don't want it to be gray on the paper. I just want to pull that gray into the red, deepening that red a little bit more. So now I'm going to take my R39, I'm going to use the right side, and then we're going to recreate this whole outline that we just did. We're just redoing it, adding that second layer. So I'm going to come down a little bit further, and again along the sides here, and that line that we created in the center, and then the pleats again, and a little bit on that side part of the dress. So now we've got enough ink on there. So now I'm going to pull that color through a little bit more with the R35. So I'm going to start at the pleat, and I'm going to move down a little bit more, and then I'm going to blend all this out. So I'm pulling the darker color into the light area, so that way I'm getting that nice blend. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side and down the center here, and I'm just going to blend out this top, and then I'm going to do the one swipe over. So now that we've got this all blended out with each of the with the shades of red, I'm just going to continue this line for the pleats, and then I'm going to do one swipe down. Okay, so now I'm going to go back with my R39, and I just want to define the pleats a little bit more. So I'm just going to kind of make a little flick, and wherever it stops, we're just going to stop wherever it stops. It looks a little bit more natural that way too. So just in the little corner there. So now again with my R35, I'm just gonna continue that. So I'm kind of flicking, I'm pulling that darker color into the light, and then I'm just letting it kind of stop wherever it stops, and it just looks really natural. Okay, now I want to add a little bit more detail down here at the bottom. So what we're going to do is in between each of these sections up here, in between the pleats, I want to go up a little bit further. So that way her dress looks full and kind of flowy. So I'm going to start at the edge here, and I'm going to do tiny little baby flicks. And once I get to the center part, I'm just going to flick going up a little higher. So again, just small little baby flicks and then flick higher, just giving a little bit more detail in between to make it look a little fuller. Now I'm going to take my R39 and we're going to do the same thing, but I'm not going to go all the way across like I just did with the R35. So I'm just going to go like one flick, two flick, and then three. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And that's that. So now I have a small gap in between each of those little flicks, which now when I take my R35, the color is going to lay nicely in between and blend it out for us. So now I'm going to go through that whole thing again all the way across with my R35. I'm going to flick going up. All right, I'm going to take my N5 and I'm just going to add a little bit more, like how we rounded up here. I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. So I'm just rounding out this little edge on each side, and I am going to make small little shadow in between where we just added those little flicks for that definition down here at the bottom. So now we're going to repeat with the R39. I'm going to blend out that edge there, add a little bit more color just to kind of blur out that N5. So we have a little bit more of a shadow, and then now again with the R35 we're going to blend it out even more. Now as you can see, there's a little bit of a kind of a where it's not as blended through here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one swipe going up, but I'm going to do it very quick because I don't want to leave my marker on the paper for too long, because it's just going to saturate the paper and make it even darker than what it is. And I really want it to stay a lot lighter. So I'm just going to do one flick going all the way up, just so I could finish that blend to have a more of a smooth appearance. So I'm going to go back with my R39 one more time. I'm just going to continue that pleat, since now we've kind of lightened that by adding that other extra layer there. I'll just define a little bit more there. And one more time with our R35, just to kind of blend it through. Pull this pleat down. And then we're gonna do her sleeves really quick. So where the shadow's gonna be, it's mostly gonna be right in this area. So with your R39, you're just gonna, the part that's closest to her face is gonna be colored for the shadowed part. And then we're gonna take the R35 and blend it out. And once it's nice and blended, we'll do that one swipe over. And then we're going to take our N5 just for that a little bit more depth with the shadowing. And then the R39. And one more time with the R35. All right, and then I'm going to take my, we're going to color down here, we're going to color it white. So we're just going to shadow the edges here on both of these sides. So I'm going to take my N3 and right in each of these corners, all four of these corners, it's going to be a little thicker. It's kind of just rounding that edge. And then I'm going to come along the sides just a little bit. So same thing on this side. So in towards the center and then round out this corner, and then the same for the bottom. And then we're going to take the N1 and we're just going to flick towards the center. And remember, we want this to be white, so we just are shadowing it. So we don't want to fill it all in with the gray. So now I'm going to take my C00, and this color is really light, and I'm just blurring out this edge right here from the N1, and it's nice and light so it blends nicely into the white. So that way you don't have to go in too far. So that way you still have that nice white center. All right, so there we have it. We have our cute little girl from Neat and Tangled, the Better Together stamp set. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time.